Edgar Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet and a figure shrouded in mystery, left behind prophecies that go beyond simple speculation. They invite us to reconsider our understanding of current events and look forward with fresh eyes. As we delve further into Cayce's enigmatic predictions, many are especially intrigued by what he might have foreseen regarding Donald Trump. Now, with the 2024 U.S. presidential election behind us, Cayce's insights may offer clues about America's future direction. In today's unpredictable political landscape, his predictions could offer valuable perspectives. So what did he predict about Trump? What would the future of America look like from Cayce's perspective? In this episode, we will explain more information. Before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. Also, check out the next video on your screen, you might like it. Born in 1877, Edgar Cayce conducted over 14,000 readings throughout his life, addressing topics from health and healing to spirituality and prophecy. His forecasts have intrigued and divided audiences, particularly regarding figures like Donald Trump. Cayce suggested that American leaders, including Trump, would play pivotal roles in shaping not only the future of the U.S., but also that of the world. What exactly did Cayce predict, and how closely does it mirror today's political scene? Known as the sleeping prophet, Cayce entered trance-like states to deliver his predictions. In these sessions, he described a leader who would rise during a period of upheaval, disrupt established norms, and ignite societal polarization. The similarities between Cayce's descriptions and Trump's are remarkable. Cayce envisioned a leader from an unconventional background, someone outside traditional politics, marked by a bold, controversial persona. This closely aligns with Trump, who entered politics from real estate and reality TV, surprising many with his victory in 2016 and again in 2024. Throughout his career, Trump has continually defied expectations and challenged conventions. Cayce also predicted that this leader would have a profound impact on the country, heralding a period of significant change and upheaval. Under Trump's leadership, the U.S. has indeed experienced political and social turbulence, from policy overhauls to widespread protests, with his time in office marked by division and intense debate. Cayce's notion of a transformative leader aligns with Trump's presidency. Additionally, Cayce foresaw economic and global shifts, envisioning financial challenges alongside opportunities for renewal. Trump's policies, especially his focus on trade deals and economic restructuring, have undeniably reshaped the economy. Whether viewed positively or negatively, these developments seem to resonate with Cayce's vision. What did Cayce foresee regarding Trump? One of Edgar Cayce's prominent predictions spoke of a figure rising within American politics, shaking the established order, and eliciting a strong response from the public. Many of Cayce's followers see Trump as this figure, as his unconventional approach and populist rhetoric have disrupted traditional political expectations. Cayce suggested that a leader would emerge as a catalyst for both change and controversy, necessary to awaken the public to fresh perspectives. Cayce also envisioned a period of profound upheaval within the United States, one that would lead to a higher collective consciousness and social progress. Some interpret this as reflecting Trump's presidency, where his leadership has brought deep divisions to the surface, sparking dialogues that might ultimately foster unity and healing. Cayce mentioned that America would need to confront its past and address its actions both at home and abroad, a theme resonant with today's discussions on social justice, economic inequality, and foreign policy. Among his many predictions, he foresaw China's rise as a global economic power, a vision made in the 1920s and 1930s that has since come true. Cayce also predicted major events like the 1929 Wall Street crash and spoke about Atlantis. His influence extended beyond predictions, transforming lives through spiritual and medical healing, with many still sharing how he impacted them deeply. So what did Edgar Cayce predict would happen in the year 2024? And what impact will these predictions have on us? Before exploring Cayce's predictions for 2024, let's look at his roots. Edgar Cayce, born in 1877 in Kentucky, began as an ordinary farm boy, but soon exhibited remarkable spiritual abilities, such as seeing spirits and having visionary experiences. Deeply devoted to the Bible, he developed unique learning abilities that hinted at his future as the sleeping prophet. After temporarily losing his voice in young adulthood, a local hypnotist helped him recover it, which also led to his discovery of clairvoyant abilities. In 1925, he moved to Virginia Beach, where he founded the Hospital for Research and Enlightenment, and later the Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, which continues his work today. Despite health struggles, Cayce's psychic readings touched countless lives. He left behind over 14,000 documented readings that continue to influence spiritual and holistic practices worldwide. The astonishing predictions of Edgar Cayce. Now we come to the part where we can see the similarity between Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce. Compared to Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce had a more practical and accessible approach to prophecy. While Nostradamus used symbolic quatrains filled with metaphors and astrological references, Cayce's readings were straightforward and often focused on health, spirituality, and individual guidance. From foreseeing monumental global events to predicting technological marvels and natural disasters, Edgar's visions continue to intrigue and mystify. Let's delve into some of these prophecies, examining how closely reality has mirrored his foresight. Firstly, let's look at his startling predictions about the 1929 stock market crash. In the mid-1920s, while the Roaring Twenties danced on, Edgar, during a trance, warned a physician about forthcoming wealth that would be easily taken away around 1929. He cautioned a New York stockbroker about an impending financial catastrophe. True enough, in October 1929, the stock market crashed, triggering the Great Depression. Moving beyond financial predictions, Edgar's forecasts touched on geopolitical changes, notably the collapse of the Soviet Union. Long before anyone could imagine the fall of such a vast empire, Edgar spoke of Russia being the hope of the world, emerging not through communism, but through freedom that would champion the common good, reflecting the principles of equality and fraternity. By 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved, abandoning communism for more democratic governance and market-oriented reforms. Another of Edgar's forecasts involved the mystical land of Atlantis, a favorite topic of his that captured the imaginations of many. In 1938, he predicted that parts of the temples of Atlantis would begin to re-emerge in the late 1960s near Bimini. Lo and behold, in 1968, the Bimini Road was discovered, and many believe this undersea formation to be part of Atlantis. While skeptics argue about its origins, the timing and location of the discovery were uncannily in line with Edgar's predictions. Cayce's notes are said to contain the truth about human origins, science and technology, and the history of the Atlantis people. According to his notes, 200,000 years ago in the Atlantic Ocean, there was a continent called Atlantis. This is where the Atlantis civilization was stored. In this civilization, there were 5 races of people: yellow people, white people, brown people, black people, and red people. So why 5 races of people? Cayce explained that the Atlantis people also had 5 senses like us. However, the 5 senses all have colors: white for vision, yellow for hearing, blue for smell, black for taste, and red for touch. Therefore, the 5 races of people are distinguished based on the strengths and weaknesses of these 5 senses. And they all have a colorful appearance to be able to identify. He described Atlantis as a technologically advanced civilization that ultimately destroyed itself through spiritual hubris, serving as a cautionary tale for modern society. Moreover, Edgar did not shy away from making predictions about American politics. He foresaw the untimely 2 U.S. presidents. In 1939, he ominously noted that the next 2 presidents would face tremendous challenges. Indeed, Franklin D. Roosevelt died in office in 1945, followed by John F. Kennedy in 1963. These events underscored Edgar's insight into the turbulence and trials within American leadership. Nostradamus and Edgar's visions of and Hitler. Although Nostradamus lived much earlier than Edgar Cayce, separated by about 3 centuries, their predictions echo through time with eerie similarity, especially regarding the tumultuous events of World War II and the rise of Adolf Hitler. It's almost as if they had a time-traveling chat about the future, right? Nostradamus, with his quatrains as cryptic as a sphinx's riddle, mentioned a young child born of poor people from the depths of the west of Europe. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we have Adolf Hitler, a man whose oratory skills could seduce a great troupe. His infamy spread toward the realm of the East, aligning with Nostradamus's words like pieces in a historical puzzle. Another quatrain mentions battles near Histor. The word Histor, often linked to Hitler, is an old name for the Danube River. So, was Nostradamus talking about the dictator, or simply describing a scene along Europe's second longest river? These prophetic verses are seen by many as a prediction of a great conflict that would affect the region through which the Danube flows. Now let's shift gears to Edgar Cayce. During his trance readings in 1935, he predicted a war involving many nations, including Austria, Germany, and Japan. He also said that the US would enter the war in 1941, describing it as the world on fire. A year earlier, he had predicted that Hitler would rule Germany until he was overthrown by a foreign war. So there you have it. Two seers separated by centuries, but united by their uncanny foresight. Whether you're a believer in prophecies or just enjoy a good historical puzzle, these predictions are sure to add a dash of mystery to your day. Who knows? Maybe there's something to these old texts after all, or perhaps it's just history's way of playing tricks on us. Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce, seers of their ends. However, this isn't the most bizarre thing these two seers predicted. Did you know that both Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce foresaw their deaths? We bet you weren't ready for this revelation. Imagine having the ability to peer into the future, witnessing events unfold long before they happen. Now, picture knowing the exact moment of your demise. It sounds like a scene from a movie, right? Well, for Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce, two of history's most famous prophets, this was their reality. Let's start with Nostradamus, the renowned French prophet from the Renaissance era. Born Michel de Nostradame in 1503, he became famous for his cryptic quatrains, which many believe predict significant historical events. Among his many prophecies, Nostradamus supposedly predicted his death. The story goes that on the evening of July 1st, 1566, he told his assistant, "Tomorrow at sunrise, I shall no longer be here." True to his words, Nostradamus passed away that very night, and on July 2nd, 1566, he was found dead. His eerie accuracy has left people mystified for centuries. Fast forward to the 20th century and enter Edgar Cayce. As we said, Edgar was born in 1877 and gained fame for his ability to enter trance-like states and provide detailed prophecies, health diagnoses, and spiritual insights. His predictions covered a wide range of topics, from medical advice to future events. But Edgar didn't stop at forecasting the future for others. He also predicted his death. During one of his trance sessions, he mentioned he would pass away in just a few days. On January 3rd, 1945, exactly 4 days after predicting his demise, Edgar died of a stroke. There's something profoundly eerie about how both these men managed to foresee their exits from this world. It's as if they had a secret calendar marked with their end dates. Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce both lived lives steeped in mystery and mysticism, and their deaths were no different. Edgar Cayce's shocking predictions for 2024. Get ready now for what comes next, because what Edgar Cayce predicted for 2024 will shock everyone. While the election predictions of 2024 have captured much attention, another event has stirred even more intrigue and concern. Today, we have an extraordinary topic that will captivate your mind and stir your curiosity. You won't believe what Edgar Cayce, the renowned sleeping prophet, predicted for 2024. Edgar Cayce, often hailed as a modern-day prophet, left behind an astonishing legacy with his 14,000 documented psychic readings. Known for his ability to diagnose illnesses and predict future events with uncanny accuracy, Cayce has been a subject of fascination and debate for decades. Born in Christian County, Kentucky, he became famous as the Sleeping Prophet, a moniker that reflects his unique ability to enter a sleep-like state and deliver profound insights. Recently, a significant event captured the attention of millions: a total solar eclipse. This celestial phenomenon, visible across parts of North America, was more than just a spectacular sight. For many, it was a sign, a harbinger of something monumental. As Americans gazed up at the sky, a realization dawned upon them. This eclipse might be one of the signs foretelling the end times. This brings us to the crux of today's discussion: the shocking predictions made by Edgar Cayce for 2024, and why they have left so many people both fascinated and terrified. Edgar Cayce's predictions aren't just casual musings. His forecasts have often been unsettlingly accurate, leading many to believe that his visions for 2024 could indeed come to pass. With each passing day, more and more people are delving into his readings, trying to decipher what the future holds. From natural disasters to profound societal changes, Cayce's prophecies cover a wide array of topics that seem to resonate with today's world. So, what exactly did Cayce predict? And why are his 2024 prophecies causing such a stir? Brace yourself as we unravel the mystery behind these predictions and explore the possibility that we might be living in the final days, weeks, or months of our existence. Because of Edgar Cayce's 2024 predictions, Americans find themselves looking up at the sky, waiting for the moment when darkness covers the sun again. In this video, we'll take you on a journey through Edgar Cayce's life, his incredible abilities, and the eerie accuracy of his predictions. We'll explore the recent solar eclipse, its historical significance, and how it ties into the prophetic visions of the sleeping prophet. This journey promises to be both enlightening and spine-chilling, so make sure you watch till the end. You'll discover the intricate details of Cayce's most alarming predictions and what they could mean for our future. Stay tuned as we dive deep into the life of Edgar Cayce, uncovering the secrets behind his psychic readings and the potential reality of his 2024 prophecies. You won't want to miss a moment of this fascinating exploration into the unknown. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. Edgar Cayce, born on March 18, 1877, in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, is often referred to as America's most documented psychic. His journey from a humble upbringing to becoming the sleeping prophet is as intriguing as his predictions. Cayce's early life was marked by a profound curiosity about the spiritual world. As a child, he exhibited an unusual ability to see and communicate with spirits, including his deceased grandfather. These experiences laid the foundation for his later work as a psychic. Cayce's unique abilities began to manifest more clearly when he was just 12 years old. One day, after a particularly difficult spelling lesson, he experienced a life-changing event. Frustrated with his performance, Edgar's father quizzed him harshly, leading to Edgar falling asleep with his head on his spelling book. Astonishingly, when he woke up, he knew the entire book by heart. This marked the beginning of his journey as the sleeping prophet. He discovered that by placing his head on a book, he could absorb its contents while asleep, a phenomenon that baffled his teachers and peers. As Cayce grew older, his abilities evolved. He realized that he could enter a self-induced sleep-like state to access information not just from books, but from a seemingly limitless source of knowledge. He began giving readings that diagnosed illnesses and provided treatments, often with remarkable accuracy. These readings were conducted while he was in a trance, and his insights were transcribed by a stenographer. Over his lifetime, Cayce gave more than 14,000 readings, covering a wide range of topics including health, spirituality, and future events. One of the most compelling aspects of Cayce's work was his ability to diagnose medical conditions. In an era with limited medical knowledge and technology, his readings provided invaluable guidance. For instance, he accurately diagnosed a rare form of epilepsy in a child and recommended a specific diet and treatment plan that significantly improved the child's condition. His medical readings were so precise that many doctors consulted him when conventional methods failed. Cayce's fame grew, and people from all walks of life sought his counsel. Among his clients were notable figures such as Thomas Edison and Woodrow Wilson. Despite his growing reputation, Cayce remained humble, attributing his abilities to a divine gift. He believed that his psychic talent was meant to serve humanity, and often refused payment for his readings, relying on donations to support his work and family. Beyond medical diagnoses, Cayce's readings delved into profound spiritual and metaphysical topics. He spoke of reincarnation, a concept that was controversial at the time, but has since gained wider acceptance. According to Cayce, individuals' past lives influence their present circumstances, and understanding these past lives could provide insight into current challenges and relationships. He also predicted significant future events, some of which have been eerily accurate. One of his most famous predictions was the stock market crash of 1929. Years before the Great Depression, Cayce warned of economic turmoil and advised his clients to diversify their investments and avoid speculation. Those who heeded his advice were better prepared when the market collapsed, highlighting the practical value of his foresights. Despite his successes, Cayce faced considerable skepticism. Critics accused him of being a charlatan, and his methods were often scrutinized by the scientific community. However, the accuracy of many of his readings and the profound impact they had on people's lives could not be easily dismissed. His ability to provide detailed and accurate information about individuals he had never met was a testament to his extraordinary gift. Edgar Cayce's legacy extends beyond his lifetime. After his loss in 1945, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, was established to preserve and study his readings. The ARE continues to operate today, offering resources and programs that explore Cayce's work and its implications for health, spirituality, and personal development. As we reflect on Cayce's profound influence and the enduring relevance of his insights, it is intriguing to consider how contemporary events can be seen through the lens of his prophecies. One such event is the solar eclipse that occurred on April 8th, a spectacular celestial phenomenon that captured the attention of millions and held special significance for those who follow Cayce's teachings. This eclipse, like those in ancient times, evoked a sense of wonder and contemplation, intertwining scientific marvel with historical and prophetic narratives. The solar eclipse and its significance. The solar eclipse that occurred on April 8th was not just a spectacular celestial event. It was also a moment of profound significance for many people who follow the prophecies of Edgar Cayce. A total solar eclipse, where the moon completely covers the sun, is a rare phenomenon that has fascinated humanity for centuries. This particular eclipse, visible across parts of North America, stirred excitement and curiosity, and for some, it was seen as a sign of impending change. To understand the significance of this eclipse, it's essential to look at both its scientific and historical contexts. Scientifically, a solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, casting a shadow on the Earth's surface. The path of totality, the area where the sun is completely obscured by the moon, is a narrow band that travels across the Earth. Outside this path, observers see a partial eclipse, where only a part of the sun is covered. On April 8th, millions of people across North America had the opportunity to witness this rare event. The eclipse began in the Pacific Ocean, traveled across Mexico, and continued through the United States and Canada. The path of totality included major cities, allowing many people to experience the awe-inspiring moment when day turned to night. Historically, solar eclipses have been viewed with a mix of wonder and fear. Ancient civilizations often interpreted eclipses as omens. For the Babylonians, eclipses were messages from the gods, often foretelling significant events or changes. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, was a celebrated American psychic renowned for his healing abilities, prophecies, and spiritual insights. From a young age, he exhibited an unusual spiritual connection, marked by an early vision that led him to a life dedicated to helping others. His psychic journey began in earnest after he accurately prescribed a remedy for his own injury, which revealed his healing talents. Over his life, Cayce provided thousands of readings on diverse topics, foreseeing major events such as both world wars, the Great Depression, China's rise, and the fall of European communism. He also predicted dramatic environmental shifts, including changes to coastlines, sea level rise, and the eventual transformation of Antarctica into fertile farmland. Cayce envisioned breakthroughs in healthcare that would extend human lifespans and predicted a new era around 2024, marked by a shift towards empathy, compassion, and spiritual evolution in a higher 5D consciousness. Among his notable prophecies, Cayce anticipated that remnants of Atlantis would be discovered near Bimini in the Bahamas, a claim seemingly supported by underwater finds in 1968. Today, Cayce's legacy inspires continued interest in psychic phenomena, spiritual growth, and the potential of human consciousness, leaving a lasting impact that bridges belief and skepticism. Donald Trump's success. Donald Trump, known for his luxurious and ambitious ventures, initially built his reputation through a real estate empire centered in New York City. His iconic Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue epitomized his brand of opulence with its lavish gold and marble interiors. In the 1980s, Trump expanded into Atlantic City, developing grand casinos like the Trump Plaza and Trump Taj Mahal, aimed at high-end clientele. Despite financial struggles and multiple bankruptcies in his Atlantic City investments, Trump's resilience and talent for self-promotion kept his brand strong. Trump successfully expanded his name beyond real estate, licensing it across diverse products and ventures, including clothing, golf courses, and bottled water. His public image as a successful businessman was further bolstered by his role in The Apprentice, where his catchphrase, "You're fired," became iconic, showcasing him as a savvy entrepreneur and authority figure. The show elevated his influence, extending his reach beyond business into mainstream media. Over time, Trump's brand grew to symbolize power, wealth, and resilience, surviving both successes and controversies. This cultivated image laid the groundwork for his unexpected shift into politics, with his name evolving into a symbol of influence that resonated with the public, ultimately leading him to the presidency. Surely you still remember the time Donald Trump was shot past the ear on July 13th this year, right? On July 13th, President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally. Shooter Thomas Crooks grazed Trump's ear before Secret Service secured him. Trump received medical care and continued, while President Biden condemned the violence. Now let's look at Edgar Cayce's prophecy about Donald Trump. Stay tuned, Edgar Cayce's prophecy. What if we took this Edgar Cayce prophecy in relation to the upcoming November 5th election? Edgar Cayce, often referred to as the sleeping prophet for his ability to make predictions while in a trance, envisioned a powerful leader emerging in the United States who would bring about sweeping changes and provoke strong reactions from society. Unlike traditional leaders, this figure would come from an unconventional background and follow a surprising path to prominence. Many see this description aligning closely with Donald Trump, whose transition from a real estate tycoon and reality television star to President of the United States was as unorthodox as it was unprecedented. Trump's rise to power seemed to fulfill Cayce's prophecy of a leader marked by strength and a controversial personality who would challenge established norms. Cayce spoke of a leader whose approach would disrupt the political landscape, a figure whose presence would incite significant division and polarization within society. Trump's populist approach, combined with his direct and often provocative communication style, stirred both fervent support and staunch opposition. His presidency became a focal point for heightened social tension and political upheaval, upending long-standing norms and practices in Washington. During this period, U.S. politics saw a stark shift in tone and in policy approach, as well as a redefinition of what it meant to hold the highest office in the land. This turbulence within the political sphere echoed Cayce's vision of a leader who would bring both instability and transformative change. Under Trump's administration, the nation faced not only policy shifts, but also deep social divides. His policies on immigration, trade, and foreign relations marked a significant departure from previous administrations, fueling debates that further polarized the American public. These changes in the political landscape mirrored Cayce's vision of a leader who would challenge the status quo, pushing the nation to a point of self-reflection. Thick with anticipation as the world waits for the upcoming written fate of 2024. Have you ever wondered if the future of our world has already been foretold? While the election predictions of 2024 have captured much attention, another event has stirred even more intrigue and concern. Today, we have an extraordinary topic that will captivate your mind and stir your curiosity. You won't believe what Edgar Cayce, the renowned sleeping prophet, predicted for 2024. Edgar Cayce, often hailed as a modern-day prophet, left behind an astonishing legacy with his 14,000 documented psychic readings. Known for his ability to diagnose illnesses and predict future events with uncanny accuracy, Cayce has been a subject of fascination and debate for decades. Born in Christian County, Kentucky, he became famous as the Sleeping Prophet, a moniker that reflects his unique ability to enter a sleep-like state and deliver profound insights. Recently, a significant event captured the attention of millions: a total solar eclipse. This celestial phenomenon, visible across parts of North America, was more than just a spectacular sight. For many, it was a sign, a harbinger of something monumental. As Americans gazed up at the sky, a realization dawned upon them. This eclipse might be one of the signs foretelling the end times. This brings us to the crux of today's discussion: the shocking predictions made by Edgar Cayce for 2024, and why they have left so many people both fascinated and terrified. Edgar Cayce's predictions aren't just casual musings. His forecasts have often been unsettlingly accurate, leading many to believe that his visions for 2024 could indeed come to pass. With each passing day, more and more people are delving into his readings, trying to decipher what the future holds. From natural disasters to profound societal changes, Cayce's prophecies cover a wide array of topics that seem to resonate with today's world. So, what exactly did Cayce predict? And why are his 2024 prophecies causing such a stir? Brace yourself as we unravel the mystery behind these predictions and explore the possibility that we might be living in the final days, weeks, or months of our existence. Because of Edgar Cayce's 2024 predictions, Americans find themselves looking up at the sky, waiting for the moment when darkness covers the sun again. In this video, we'll take you on a journey through Edgar Cayce's life, his incredible abilities, and the eerie accuracy of his predictions. We'll explore the recent solar eclipse, its historical significance, and how it ties into the prophetic visions of the sleeping prophet. This journey promises to be both enlightening and spine-chilling, so make sure you watch till the end. You'll discover the intricate details of Cayce's most alarming predictions and what they could mean for our future. Stay tuned as we dive deep into the life of Edgar Cayce, uncovering the secrets behind his psychic readings and the potential reality of his 2024 prophecies. You won't want to miss a moment of this fascinating exploration into the unknown. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. Edgar Cayce, born on March 18, 1877, in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, is often referred to as America's most documented psychic. His journey from a humble upbringing to becoming the sleeping prophet is as intriguing as his predictions. Cayce's early life was marked by a profound curiosity about the spiritual world. As a child, he exhibited an unusual ability to see and communicate with spirits, including his deceased grandfather. These experiences laid the foundation for his later work as a psychic. Cayce's unique abilities began to manifest more clearly when he was just 12 years old. One day, after a particularly difficult spelling lesson, he experienced a life-changing event. Frustrated with his performance, Edgar's father quizzed him harshly, leading to Edgar falling asleep with his head on his spelling book. Astonishingly, when he woke up, he knew the entire book by heart. This marked the beginning of his journey as the sleeping prophet. He discovered that by placing his head on a book, he could absorb its contents while asleep, a phenomenon that baffled his teachers and peers. As Cayce grew older, his abilities evolved. He realized that he could enter a self-induced sleep-like state to access information not just from books, but from a seemingly limitless source of knowledge. He began giving readings that diagnosed illnesses and provided treatments, often with remarkable accuracy. These readings were conducted while he was in a trance, and his insights were transcribed by a stenographer. Over his lifetime, Cayce gave more than 14,000 readings, covering a wide range of topics including health, spirituality, and future events. One of the most compelling aspects of Cayce's work was his ability to diagnose medical conditions. In an era with limited medical knowledge and technology, his readings provided invaluable guidance. For instance, he accurately diagnosed a rare form of epilepsy in a child and recommended a specific diet and treatment plan that significantly improved the child's condition. His medical readings were so precise that many doctors consulted him when conventional methods failed. Cayce's fame grew, and people from all walks of life sought his counsel. Among his clients were notable figures such as Thomas Edison and Woodrow Wilson. Despite his growing reputation, Cayce remained humble, attributing his abilities to a divine gift. He believed that his psychic talent was meant to serve humanity, and often refused payment for his readings, relying on donations to support his work and family. Beyond medical diagnoses, Cayce's readings delved into profound spiritual and metaphysical topics. He spoke of reincarnation, a concept that was controversial at the time, but has since gained wider acceptance. According to Cayce, individuals' past lives influence their present circumstances, and understanding these past lives could provide insight into current challenges and relationships. He also predicted significant future events, some of which have been eerily accurate. One of his most famous predictions was the stock market crash of 1929. Years before the Great Depression, Cayce warned of economic turmoil and advised his clients to diversify their investments and avoid speculation. Those who heeded his advice were better prepared when the market collapsed, highlighting the practical value of his foresights. Despite his successes, Cayce faced considerable skepticism. Critics accused him of being a charlatan, and his methods were often scrutinized by the scientific community. However, the accuracy of many of his readings and the profound impact they had on people's lives could not be easily dismissed. His ability to provide detailed and accurate information about individuals he had never met was a testament to his extraordinary gift. Edgar Cayce's legacy extends beyond his lifetime. After his loss in 1945, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, was established to preserve and study his readings. The ARE continues to operate today, offering resources and programs that explore Cayce's work and its implications for health, spirituality, and personal development. As we reflect on Cayce's profound influence and the enduring relevance of his insights, it is intriguing to consider how contemporary events can be seen through the lens of his prophecies. One such event is the solar eclipse that occurred on April 8th, a spectacular celestial phenomenon that captured the attention of millions and held special significance for those who follow Cayce's teachings. This eclipse, like those in ancient times, evoked a sense of wonder and contemplation, intertwining scientific marvel with historical and prophetic narratives. The solar eclipse and its significance. The solar eclipse that occurred on April 8th was not just a spectacular celestial event, it was also a moment of profound significance for many people who follow the prophecies of Edgar Cayce. A total solar eclipse, where the moon completely covers the sun, is a rare phenomenon that has fascinated humanity for centuries. This particular eclipse, visible across parts of North America, stirred excitement and curiosity, and for some, it was seen as a sign of impending change. To understand the significance of this eclipse, it's essential to look at both its scientific and historical contexts. Scientifically, a solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, casting a shadow on the Earth's surface. The path of totality, the area where the sun is completely obscured by the moon, is a narrow band that travels across the Earth. Outside this path, observers see a partial eclipse, where only a part of the sun is covered. On April 8th, millions of people across North America had the opportunity to witness this rare event. The eclipse began in the Pacific Ocean, traveled across Mexico, and continued through the United States and Canada. The path of totality included major cities, allowing many people to experience the awe-inspiring moment when day turned to night. Historically, solar eclipses have been viewed with a mix of wonder and fear. Ancient civilizations often interpreted eclipses as omens. For the Babylonians, eclipses were messages from the gods, often foretelling significant events or changes. The Chinese believed that an eclipse was caused by a dragon devouring the sun, and they would perform rituals to scare the dragon away. In ancient Greece, eclipses were seen as portents of disaster, with historical records noting the correlation between eclipses and significant events, such as the expiration of kings or the fall of cities. In modern times, while the scientific understanding of eclipses has dispelled much of the fear, the sense of awe remains. Eclipses are still seen as powerful reminders of the cosmos's vastness and the delicate balance of celestial mechanics. The April 8th eclipse, in particular, captured the imagination of many who believe in the prophetic significance of such events. For followers of Edgar Cayce, the eclipse held special meaning. Cayce, known for his detailed and often accurate predictions, spoke about celestial events as signs of significant changes. According to his readings, solar and lunar eclipses could signal shifts in the Earth's energy and serve as harbingers of future events. This belief aligns with various religious and esoteric traditions that view eclipses as moments when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is thinner, allowing for greater insight and revelation. One of Cayce's readings suggested that eclipses could trigger changes in human consciousness, leading to greater spiritual awakening and awareness. This idea resonates with many who see the current era as a time of profound transformation. The April 8th eclipse, occurring at a moment of heightened global uncertainty, was viewed by some as a pivotal event that could catalyze such changes. Additionally, the eclipse's occurrence in North America, a region deeply influenced by Cayce's predictions, added to its significance. Cayce's followers often look to his prophecies for guidance on global events, and the timing of the eclipse seemed to many like a confirmation of his warnings about the coming years. The convergence of scientific, historical, and prophetic perspectives made the eclipse a focal point for discussions about the future. It's important to note that solar eclipses, while rare, are natural phenomena that occur with predictable regularity. The fear and speculation that often accompany them are rooted in human psychology and cultural traditions. However, the April 8th eclipse, by its very nature and timing, served as a reminder of the delicate balance of our world and the potential for change. In summary, the solar eclipse of April 8th was not just an astronomical event, but a symbol laden with historical, cultural, and prophetic significance. For many, it was a moment to reflect on the past and consider the future, particularly in the context of Edgar Cayce's predictions. One of Cayce's most intriguing predictions was the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947. Decades before their unearthing, Cayce had spoken of ancient texts hidden in the Middle East that would shed light on early Christianity and the life of Jesus. This prediction, among others, has cemented his reputation as one of the most fascinating figures in the field of prophecy. Despite his many successes, Cayce's work was not without controversy. Skeptics often questioned the validity of his readings, attributing his accurate predictions to coincidence or selective interpretation. Critics pointed out that some of his forecasts did not come to pass, such as his prediction of a major shift in the Earth's axis, which he said would occur in the late 20th century. Additionally, some medical professionals were wary of his unorthodox treatments, arguing that they lacked scientific basis. Despite these criticisms, many of Cayce's clients reported significant improvements in their health and well-being, lending credibility to his holistic approach. Cayce himself was a humble man, who often expressed reluctance about his abilities. He saw his gift as a responsibility, rather than a source of fame or fortune. Throughout his life, he remained devoted to helping others, often providing readings free of charge to those in need. Edgar Cayce's legacy extends far beyond his lifetime. His work has inspired countless researchers, authors, and practitioners in fields ranging from alternative medicine to metaphysics. The Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, founded by Cayce in 1931, continues to promote his teachings and conduct research into his readings. The organization maintains an extensive archive of his work and offers educational programs on holistic health, spirituality, and personal growth. Cayce's influence can also be seen in popular culture. He has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and even fictional works. His life and predictions continue to captivate new generations, serving as a testament to the enduring appeal of his extraordinary abilities. Understanding who Edgar Cayce was provides a critical context for interpreting his predictions for 2024. His life story is a blend of mystery, dedication, and profound insight. As we delve deeper into his forecasts, keep in mind the remarkable journey that brought these visions to light. Cayce's predictions are not just abstract prophecies. They are the culmination of a lifetime dedicated to exploring the unseen dimensions of reality. Edgar Cayce's methods were as unique as the predictions he made. Unlike other clairvoyants of his time, Cayce entered a self-induced trance state to perform his readings. This process, which he referred to as sleeping, allowed him to access what he called the Akashic records. These records, according to Cayce, were a universal compendium of all thoughts, events, and experiences throughout history. They served as his source of knowledge and insight, providing detailed and accurate information on a wide range of topics. To initiate his trance state, Cayce would lie down, close his eyes, and enter a state of deep relaxation. This process typically required a quiet and comfortable environment, free from distractions. Once in this state, Cayce's breathing would slow, and he would exhibit signs of being in a deep sleep. Despite his unconscious appearance, Cayce was able to respond to questions posed by his assistant or the person receiving the reading. During these sessions, Cayce would speak in a slow, deliberate manner, often using archaic language and terminology. His responses were transcribed verbatim by a stenographer, ensuring that every detail was captured accurately. These transcripts were later cataloged and preserved, forming the extensive archive of Cayce's readings that we have today. Cayce's readings fell into several distinct categories, each addressing different aspects of life and existence. The most common types included health readings. These were the most frequent and sought-after readings. Cayce provided detailed diagnoses and treatment plans for various ailments, often incorporating holistic and alternative therapies. His recommendations included dietary changes, herbal remedies, hydrotherapy, and massage. Life readings. These readings explored an individual's past lives and how they influenced their current life. Cayce believed in reincarnation and the idea that experiences from previous lives impacted present circumstances. These readings offered insights into personal challenges, relationships, and spiritual growth. Business and financial readings. Cayce also provided guidance on business ventures and financial matters. His advice ranged from investment strategies to the management of enterprises. Notably, he predicted the stock market crash of 1929, providing warnings to those who sought his counsel. Spiritual and philosophical readings. These readings delved into broader existential questions, exploring themes such as the nature of the soul, the afterlife, and humanity's spiritual evolution. Cayce's spiritual readings often emphasize the importance of aligning one's life with higher principles and divine laws. The accuracy of Edgar Cayce's readings has been a subject of both fascination and skepticism. Similarly, the geopolitical and social changes he foresaw highlight existing vulnerabilities and the need for proactive measures to address them. Cayce's emphasis on spiritual awakening and technological innovation offers a hopeful perspective amidst the potential chaos. His predictions suggest that humanity has the capacity to adapt and thrive, even in the face of unprecedented challenges. This duality of crisis and opportunity is a recurring theme in Cayce's readings and reflects a broader philosophical view of change as a catalyst for growth. As we move closer to 2024, the relevance of Cayce's predictions becomes increasingly apparent. The environmental challenges we face today, from climate change to resource scarcity, echo his warnings. The political and social tensions he described are visible in the current geopolitical landscape, and the technological and spiritual shifts he anticipated are beginning to take shape. In considering Cayce's predictions, it's crucial to strike a balance between skepticism and openness. While not all of his prophecies may come to pass as he envisioned, they offer valuable insights into potential future scenarios. They encourage us to think critically about our current path and the changes needed to navigate the complexities of the modern world. As we delve deeper into Cayce's 2024 prophecies, let's keep an open mind and consider the lessons they may hold. Whether viewed as literal forecasts or symbolic warnings, they challenge us to reflect on our relationship with the Earth, with each other, and with the broader cosmos. They remind us of the interconnectedness of all things and the need for a holistic approach to the challenges we face. In the next part of our exploration, we'll take a closer look at specific events and trends that align with Cayce's predictions. We'll examine the scientific evidence for geomagnetic reversal, the current state of global environmental and political affairs, and the advancements in technology and medicine that may shape our future. By doing so, we aim to provide a comprehensive understanding of what 2024 might hold and how we can prepare for it. Stay tuned as we continue our journey into the world of Edgar Cayce and his remarkable visions for the future. The insights we gain may not only illuminate the path ahead, but also inspire us to create a better, more harmonious world. The Great Reset. In recent years, the term Great Reset has gained significant traction, sparking debates and discussions across the globe. Coined by Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset refers to a comprehensive plan to rebuild the global economy sustainably after the COVID-19 pandemic. However, for many followers of Edgar Cayce and other prophetic thinkers, the Great Reset resonates with deeper, more esoteric implications that align eerily with Cayce's predictions for 2024. The Great Reset initiative proposes radical changes to how we approach various global challenges, from economic inequality to climate change. At its core, it envisions a transformation of our economic systems to be more inclusive, equitable, and environmentally conscious. While these goals seem noble, there are concerns and conspiracy theories suggesting that the Great Reset might be a stepping stone towards a one-world government, a concept that aligns with some of Cayce's darker predictions. According to Cayce, the world would undergo significant upheaval, both environmentally and socially, which would necessitate a restructuring of global governance. He predicted that these changes would be driven by both natural disasters and human actions, leading to a new order that could either uplift humanity or impose unprecedented control over people's lives. One of the primary components of the Great Reset is the shift towards a green economy. This includes transitioning away from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, which Cayce predicted would be essential for the future. In his readings, Cayce spoke of the need for humanity to live in harmony with nature, and the Great Reset's emphasis on sustainability reflects this vision. The push for green technologies, such as solar and wind power, electric vehicles, and sustainable agriculture, aligns with Cayce's foresight of technological advancements helping to mitigate environmental crises. However, the implementation of these changes has sparked controversy. Critics argue that the Great Reset could lead to increased surveillance and loss of individual freedoms. The idea of a centralized global governance system controlling economic and environmental policies is seen by some as a potential path to authoritarianism. This concern echoes Cayce's warnings about the potential for misuse of power during times of great change. Moreover, the Great Reset also emphasizes the importance of social justice and equity, aiming to address systemic inequalities exacerbated by the pandemic. This includes policies to redistribute wealth, provide universal basic income, and ensure access to education and healthcare for all. While these measures could help create a more just society, they also raise questions about the balance between state control and individual liberties. The concept of the Great Reset has also been linked to various conspiracy theories, suggesting that it is a cover for a more sinister agenda. Some believe that the pandemic was orchestrated or exploited by elites to push forward this agenda, aiming to reshape society in ways that serve their interests. These theories often cite Cayce's predictions of global upheaval and transformation as evidence of a hidden plan unfolding. In addition to environmental and social changes, Cayce predicted significant technological advancements that would revolutionize human life. The Great Reset's focus on innovation and technology, particularly in addressing climate change and economic challenges, aligns with this prediction. From advancements in artificial intelligence to breakthroughs in medical science, the rapid pace of technological progress is seen as both an opportunity and a threat. Cayce also spoke of spiritual awakening as a critical component of humanity's future. He believed that the crises facing the world would prompt a shift in consciousness, leading people to seek deeper understanding and connection with the divine. The Great Reset, with its emphasis on creating a more equitable and sustainable world, can be seen as part of this broader spiritual evolution. However, whether it will lead to greater enlightenment or greater control remains a point of contention. As we navigate these complex and often conflicting narratives, it is essential to critically examine the underlying motivations and potential outcomes of the Great Reset. On one hand, it offers a vision of a more just, sustainable, and technologically advanced world. On the other hand, it raises concerns about the concentration of power and the potential erosion of individual freedoms. In the context of Edgar Cayce's predictions, the Great Reset represents a pivotal moment in human history. It reflects the profound changes he foresaw, driven by both human innovation and natural forces. The convergence of environmental, social, and technological transformations echoes his vision of a world in flux, facing both peril and possibility. Ultimately, the outcome of the Great Reset will depend on how it is implemented and who controls its direction. Will it lead to a more harmonious and equitable world, as Cayce hoped? Or will it result in greater control and inequality? As we approach 2024, the answers to these questions will become increasingly critical. As we continue to explore Cayce's predictions and their relevance to today's world, it is important to remain vigilant and engaged. The Great Reset, like many of Cayce's prophecies, challenges us to think deeply about our values, our governance systems, and our relationship with the earth and each other. It calls us to envision a future that is not only sustainable and equitable, but also spiritually fulfilling and free. Biblical references and end times theories. Edgar Cayce's predictions for 2024 often intertwine with biblical references and end times theories, adding a layer of spiritual and prophetic significance that resonates with many. To understand the potential implications of his prophecies, it's essential to explore the biblical context and how it aligns with Cayce's visions. In the Bible, particularly in the books of Daniel and Revelation, there are numerous references to signs and events that would precede the end times. These scriptures describe a period of great tribulation, marked by wars, natural disasters, and widespread chaos. For many, Cayce's predictions of environmental upheaval, political instability, and societal transformation echo these biblical descriptions, suggesting that we might be approaching the prophesied end times. One of the most cited biblical references in the context of end times is the prophecy of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the book of Revelation. These horsemen symbolize conquest, war, famine, and demise, heralding a period of severe trials for humanity. Cayce's predictions of natural disasters, economic turmoil, and geopolitical conflicts can be seen as manifestations of these apocalyptic symbols. The convergence of these crises in 2024, as Cayce foresaw, aligns eerily with the biblical narrative of a world in turmoil. Cayce also spoke of a period of spiritual awakening and enlightenment that would follow the tribulations. This idea is reminiscent of the biblical prophecy of the second coming of Christ, a time when Jesus would return to establish a new era of peace and righteousness. According to Cayce, the trials humanity would face in 2024 would serve as a catalyst for this spiritual renewal, pushing people to seek deeper meaning and connection with the divine. The concept of the Great Tribulation, a time of unparalleled suffering before the end times, is another key element of biblical prophecy that aligns with Cayce's predictions. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus speaks of a time when there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. Matthew 24:21. Cayce's visions of environmental catastrophes and global upheaval reflect this period of intense suffering, suggesting that humanity is on the brink of profound change. Furthermore, the Bible speaks of signs in the heavens as indicators of the approaching end times. In the book of Luke, Jesus mentions that there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Luke 21:25. The recent solar eclipse on April 8th, viewed by many as a significant event, ties into this prophecy. For Cayce's followers, the eclipse is not just a natural phenomenon, but a celestial sign that aligns with his predictions and the biblical narrative. The idea of a one-world government, often discussed in the context of the Great Reset, also has biblical parallels. In the book of Revelation, there is a prophecy about the rise of a global leader known as the Antichrist, who would unite the world under a single government and impose strict control over all aspects of life. Cayce's warnings about the potential misuse of power during times of great change resonate with this prophecy, suggesting that the Great Reset could be a step towards such a scenario. Additionally, the concept of the mark of the beast, described in Revelation 13:16-17, where people would be required to bear a mark to buy or sell, is seen by some as a prophecy about future technological control over humanity. Cayce's predictions of technological advancements and their potential for both positive and negative impacts echo this biblical warning, highlighting the dual nature of progress. As we examine these biblical references and end times theories, it's important to consider how they might influence our interpretation of Cayce's predictions. For many, the convergence of these prophetic elements serves as a call to prepare for the potential challenges ahead, both physically and spiritually. However, it's also crucial to approach these interpretations with a critical mind. While the parallels between Cayce's predictions and biblical prophecies are striking, the exact timing and nature of these events remain uncertain. Prophecy, by its nature, is open to interpretation, and different people may see different meanings in the same events. In navigating these complex and often frightening scenarios, it is helpful to focus on the broader themes that emerge from both Cayce's readings and the Bible. These include the importance of spiritual growth, the need for resilience in the face of adversity, and the potential for humanity to overcome even the most daunting challenges. Ultimately, whether one views these predictions as literal forecasts or symbolic warnings, they serve as a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness and the need to approach the future with both caution and hope. As we move forward, let's take these lessons to heart and strive to create a world that reflects the highest values of compassion, justice, and spiritual awareness. Public reaction and skepticism. Edgar Cayce's predictions for 2024 have sparked a wide range of reactions, from fervent belief to outright skepticism. This section delves into the public's response to these prophecies and examines the differing perspectives on Cayce's legacy. For many believers, Cayce's predictions are a source of both fascination and concern. These individuals often view his readings as credible insights into future events, guided by a higher spiritual awareness. The accuracy of some of his past predictions, such as the stock market crash of 1929 and geopolitical shifts during World War II, bolster their confidence in his 2024 forecasts. To these followers, the convergence of current global events with Cayce's prophecies serves as confirmation that his visions are coming to fruition. Among this group, there is a sense of urgency and preparation. Many are taking proactive steps to brace for the environmental, political, and spiritual changes Cayce predicted. This includes stockpiling resources, adopting sustainable living practices, and engaging in spiritual practices to enhance their resilience and adaptability. Online forums, social media groups, and community gatherings are buzzing with discussions on how best to interpret and respond to Cayce's warnings. Conversely, skeptics view Cayce's predictions with a critical eye. They argue that many of his prophecies are vague and open to interpretation, making it easy to retrospectively fit them to events after they occur. This phenomenon, known as retrofitting, is common in the analysis of prophetic statements. Skeptics also point out that not all of Cayce's predictions have come true, citing these inaccuracies as evidence against his reliability. Furthermore, some critics question the methodologies used to record and interpret Cayce's readings. Given that many of his predictions were transcribed by stenographers while he was in a trance, there is room for human error and subjective interpretation. The lack of scientific validation for psychic phenomena also fuels skepticism, with detractors demanding empirical evidence to support Cayce's claims. In the scientific community, Cayce's work is often met with skepticism or outright dismissal. Mainstream scientists emphasize the need for reproducible and verifiable evidence when evaluating any claim, including those related to psychic phenomena. The absence of such evidence in Cayce's case leads many to conclude that his predictions are not grounded in scientific reality. They argue that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, which has not been provided in Cayce's work. Despite these criticisms, Cayce's predictions continue to captivate a significant portion of the public. His readings are often seen as part of a larger tapestry of spiritual and esoteric knowledge that transcends conventional scientific understanding. Have you ever wondered if the future of our world has already been written? What if the fate of one of the most controversial figures in modern politics was foretold by a renowned psychic nearly a century ago? Today, we dive deep into the enigmatic predictions of Edgar Cayce, often dubbed the Sleeping Prophet, and explore what he had to say about Donald Trump. With the 2024 US presidential election just around the corner, Cayce's predictions might just hold the key to understanding what lies ahead for America. Stay tuned, because the revelations you'll hear today will leave you stunned. Edgar Cayce, a man whose name is synonymous with prophecy and mysticism, left behind a legacy of predictions that have both baffled and intrigued scholars for decades. But what makes his predictions about Donald Trump so captivating? Is it the uncanny accuracy with which he described future events? Or is it the sheer audacity of his claims? Cayce's prophecies are more than just idle speculation. They're a lens through which we can examine the present and speculate about the future. With the political landscape as tumultuous as ever, understanding these predictions might give us unprecedented insights into what could unfold in the upcoming election. Could Trump's fate really be written in the stars, as Cayce suggested? And if so, what does this mean for the future of the United States and the world at large? In today's video, we will take you on a journey through time, from the early 20th century when Cayce made his astonishing predictions, to the present day where we see their potential realization. As we peel back the layers of Cayce's visions, prepare to challenge your perceptions and open your mind to the extraordinary. The year is 2024, and the air is thick with anticipation as the world waits for the outcome of the US presidential election. Amidst this political drama, we turn our gaze back to Edgar Cayce, a man whose life was dedicated to unlocking the mysteries of the future. Known for his trance-like states during which he provided insights into health, history, and prophecy. Cayce's predictions have left a lasting impact on those who study the metaphysical and the unknown. One of Cayce's most intriguing predictions speaks of a powerful figure who would rise to prominence in the United States, bringing about significant changes. Some interpret this figure to be Donald Trump, a man whose presidency has already defied many expectations. But what exactly did Cayce say, and how closely do his words align with the current political landscape? But before we dive into the specifics, let's set the stage. From an early age, Cayce exhibited signs of being different from other children. Unlike his peers, who spent their time playing and engaging in typical childhood activities, Edgar was deeply engrossed in the Bible and ancient texts. His family was devoutly Christian, and young Edgar's passion for the scriptures was nurtured from a young age. This early immersion in spiritual literature laid the foundation for his future as a prophet. Edgar Cayce, known for his astonishing ability to predict the future, has left behind a treasure trove of prophecies. Among these, his insights into a powerful figure rising to prominence in America have captivated many. Some believe this figure is none other than Donald Trump. But what did Cayce actually say? And how do these predictions align with Trump's political journey? Cayce, often referred to as the sleeping prophet, made his predictions while in a trance-like state. During these sessions, he spoke of a leader who would emerge during a time of great upheaval, a figure who would bring both challenge and change. This leader, according to Cayce, would be a person of great influence, someone who would disrupt the status quo and polarize the nation. When examining Cayce's prophecies in the context of Donald Trump, the parallels are striking. Cayce described this leader as someone who would come from an unexpected background, not a traditional politician, but rather an outsider with a strong personality and a flair for controversy. This description fits Trump perfectly, as his rise to political power was anything but conventional. From his background as a real estate mogul and reality TV star to his surprising victory in the 2016 election, Trump has always been a figure who defies norms and expectations. Cayce also spoke of this leader's impact on the nation, predicting a period of significant change and turmoil. Under Trump's administration, the United States has experienced considerable political and social upheaval. From policy changes to public protests, his tenure has been marked by intense division and passionate debate. Cayce's vision of a leader who would bring about such profound shifts seems to resonate with the reality of Trump's presidency. Moreover, Cayce's prophecies often included references to economic and global shifts. He foresaw a time when America would face financial challenges, but also opportunities for economic transformation. Trump's policies, particularly his focus on trade deals and economic reforms, have aimed to reshape the economic landscape of the country. Whether one views these changes as positive or negative, there is no denying the significant impact they have had on the nation's economy. Another intriguing aspect of Cayce's predictions is his mention of a leader who would challenge the existing power structures. Trump's approach to governance, characterized by his confrontational style and willingness to take on established institutions, aligns closely with this aspect of Cayce's vision. From his battles with the media to his contentious relationships with other political figures, Trump has consistently positioned himself as a disruptor of the status quo. As we delve deeper into Cayce's prophecies, we find even more compelling connections. Cayce predicted that this leader would face great opposition, but would also have a loyal following. Trump's presidency has been marked by fierce opposition from his critics and unwavering support from his base. This duality, the stark division between supporters and detractors, mirrors Cayce's vision. But Cayce's prophecies are not just about foretelling events, they also carry a deeper, more spiritual message. He often spoke of the need for a higher consciousness and a greater understanding of our interconnectedness. In the context of Trump's presidency, this can be interpreted as a call for reflection and awareness of the broader implications of leadership and governance. The challenges and changes brought about during this time may serve as a catalyst for collective growth and awakening, especially for us believers. To fully grasp the significance of Edgar Cayce's predictions about Donald Trump, we need to compare them to biblical prophecies. This comparison can offer deeper insights into the potential implications of these visions and help us understand how they align with ancient texts that have fascinated humanity for millennia. The Bible is rich with prophecies that have been interpreted in various ways over the centuries. Many of these prophecies focus on themes of leadership, upheaval, and divine intervention. When we examine these in the context of Cayce's predictions about Trump, we find some intriguing parallels and thought-provoking contrasts. One of the most discussed biblical prophecies is found in the book of Daniel. Daniel 2:21 states, "He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning." This passage speaks to the idea that leadership and power are divinely ordained. Cayce's prediction of a significant leader rising during a time of upheaval resonates with this concept. Trump's unexpected rise to power and the dramatic changes during his presidency could be seen as part of a divine plan, aligning with the biblical notion that God orchestrates the rise and fall of leaders. Another pertinent prophecy is found in the book of Revelation. Revelation 13:5-7 describes a powerful leader who wields great influence and faces significant opposition. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise its authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God, and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. While the figure described in Revelation is often interpreted in an eschatological context, the imagery of a polarizing leader who speaks boldly and faces fierce resistance has parallels to Trump's tenure. The stark division and intense reactions to Trump's leadership echo the biblical portrayal of a contentious figure. The prophecy of the end times in Matthew 24:6-8 also provides an interesting lens through which to view Cayce's predictions. This passage reads, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains." The themes of conflict, upheaval, and significant change align with the periods of turmoil that both Cayce and biblical prophets foresaw. Trump's presidency, marked by contentious international relations and domestic strife, fits into this broader narrative of a world in flux. Furthermore, the prophecy of the man of sin in 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4 is often cited in discussions of modern leaders. It reads, "Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of sin is revealed, the man doomed to destruction. He will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. While this passage is typically associated with the Antichrist in Christian eschatology, the characteristics of opposition, self-exaltation, and rebellion can be seen in various controversial leaders throughout history. Some interpret Trump's actions and rhetoric as aligning with these traits, though such interpretations are highly subjective and contentious. Cayce's predictions also emphasize a period of spiritual awakening and transformation, a theme echoed in biblical prophecies. In Joel 2:28-29, it is written, "And afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days." This vision of a widespread spiritual revival aligns with Cayce's belief in a higher consciousness and the interconnectedness of humanity. The idea that Trump's era could be a catalyst for such an awakening adds a hopeful dimension to these predictions. Another aspect of biblical prophecy that resonates with Cayce's visions is the role of a leader in bringing about significant societal change. Isaiah 45:1-3 speaks of Cyrus, a historical figure used by God to fulfill divine purposes. "This is what the Lord says to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I take hold of to subdue nations before him and to strip kings of their armor, to open doors before him so that gates will not be shut. I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name." Some see Trump in a similar light, as a leader who, despite his flaws and controversies, may be used to achieve a greater purpose. Moreover, the notion of a chosen one, or an anointed leader, is a common theme in both biblical and Cayce's prophecies. The parallels between the biblical figure of King David and modern leaders like Trump are often drawn by those who believe in the divine selection of leaders. David, despite his imperfections, was chosen by God to lead Israel and accomplish significant feats. Similarly, some interpret Trump's unconventional rise and his impact on global politics as part of a divine plan. However, it's crucial to approach these comparisons with caution. Prophecies are inherently open to interpretation, and the context in which they were written differs significantly from today's world. While the parallels can be striking, they can also be subjective and influenced by personal beliefs and biases. The danger of confirmation bias, seeing what we want to see in prophecies, must be acknowledged. As we delve deeper into Edgar Cayce's predictions, it's essential to recognize both his successes and his failures. While many of his predictions were remarkably accurate, some did not come to pass. For instance, Cayce predicted the return of Jesus by the year 2000, a prophecy that has yet to be fulfilled. Despite these discrepancies, Cayce's legacy as a prophet and healer remains influential and inspiring. Some say that no one will be expecting the rapture when it occurs. They say that it could happen at any time. Like a thief in the night is not expected, they say that Christ will come at an unexpected time. But Jesus said that his people would know the season of time, but not the exact day or hour. No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven. Matthew 24:36. The context of not knowing the day nor the hour, though, comes right after Jesus told us that we would know the season. He said, "Now, learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." Matthew 24:32-36. We all want good things to happen in our lives, but too often we want it now, not later. When it doesn't happen that way, we are tempted to ask, "When, God, when?" Most of us need to grow in the area of trusting God instead of focusing on the when question. If you're missing joy and peace, you're not trusting God. If your mind feels worn out all the time, you're not trusting God. The tendency to want to know about everything that's going on can be detrimental to your Christian walk. Sometimes knowing everything can be uncomfortable and can even hurt you. I spent a large part of my life being impatient, frustrated, and disappointed because there were things I didn't know. God had to teach me to leave things alone and quit feeling that I needed to know everything. I finally learned to trust the one who knows all things and accept that some questions may never be answered. We prove that we trust God when we refuse to worry. God wants us to live by discernment, revelation knowledge, not head knowledge. It's difficult to exercise discernment if you're always trying to figure everything out. But when you're willing to say, "God, I can't figure this out, so I'm going to trust you to give me revelation that will set me free," then you can be comfortable in spite of not knowing. Trusting God often requires not knowing how God is going to accomplish what needs to be done and not knowing when He will do it. We often say God is never late, but generally, He isn't early either. Why? Because He uses times of waiting to stretch our faith in Him and to bring about change and growth in our lives. We spend a lot of time in our lives waiting because change is a process. Many people want change, but they don't want to go through the waiting process. But the truth is, waiting is a given. We are going to wait. The question is, are we going to wait the wrong or right way? If we wait the wrong way, we'll be miserable. But if we decide to wait God's way, we can become patient and enjoy the wait. It takes practice. But as we let God help us in each situation, we develop patience, which is one of the most important Christian virtues. Patience is a fruit of the Spirit. See Galatians 5:22. It's developed only under trial, so we must not run from difficult situations. But let endurance and steadfastness and patience have full play and do a thorough work, so that you may be people perfectly and fully developed, with no defects, lacking in nothing. James 1:4. As we develop patience, the Bible says we finally feel completely satisfied, lacking nothing. Even our relationship with God involves progressive changes. My relationship with God is so much different now than it was in the early days of my Christian experience. It is not nearly as emotionally exciting, and yet it is better. Every change I've gone through has made me more mature, solid, and well-grounded. We learn to trust God by going through many experiences that require trust. By seeing God's faithfulness over and over, we let go of trusting ourselves, and gradually we place our trust in Him. Looking at it like this, it is easy to see how timing plays an important part in learning to trust God. If He did everything we asked for immediately, we would never grow and develop. Timing and trust work side by side. Accept God's timing. God gives us hopes and dreams for certain things to happen in our lives, but He doesn't always allow us to see the exact timing of His plan. Although frustrating, not knowing the exact timing is often what keeps us in the program. There are times when we might give up if we knew how long it was going to take, but when we accept God's timing, we can learn to live in hope and enjoy our lives while God is working on our problems. We know that God's plan for our lives is good, and when we entrust ourselves to Him, we can experience total peace and happiness. The book of Genesis tells the story of Joseph, who waited many years for the fulfillment of the dream God had given him. He was falsely accused and imprisoned before the time came for him to do what God had shown him he was to do. Exodus 13, 17, 18 tells us that God led the Israelites the longer, harder way on their journey to the Promised Land because He knew they were not yet ready to go in. There had to be time for their training, and they had to go through some very trying situations. They wasted a lot of time wondering about God's timing, but God never failed to take care of them and show them what He wanted them to do. The same is true in our lives. It was many years after I received my call from God in February of 1976 before I finally began to see major fulfillment of what God had called me to do. God's training period simply requires us to do what He tells us to do when He tells us to do it, without questioning or trying to figure everything out. Learn to rely on God. Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man's mind plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps and makes them sure." Proverbs 20:24 says, "Man's steps are ordered by the Lord. How then can a man understand his way?" When God directs our paths, He sometimes leads us in ways that don't make sense to us, so we're not always going to understand everything. If we try to reason out everything, we will experience struggle, confusion, and misery. But there is a better way. Proverbs 3:5-6. Lean on, trust in, and be confident in the Lord with all your heart and mind, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding. In all your ways, know, recognize, and acknowledge Him, and He will direct and make straight and plain your paths. This sounds so simple, yet too many people make the mistake of trying to figure everything out themselves. Most of us have spent our lives trying to take care of ourselves. But when we accept Christ as our Savior, we must learn to trust our lives to His care. When we do, we can say with the psalmist, "I trusted in, relied on, and was confident in You, O Lord. I said, You are my God. My times are in Your hands." Psalm 31:14-15. 1 Peter 5:5 tells us that God sets Himself against the proud, the insolent, the overbearing, the disdainful, the presumptuous, the boastful, and He opposes, frustrates, and defeats them, but gives grace, favor, blessing to the humble. Anyone who thinks they're a self-made man or woman has a rude awakening coming, because Jesus said, "Apart from me, cut off from vital union with me, you can do nothing." John 15:5. Humility is a covering that draws the help of God into our lives to protect us. When we humble ourselves by saying, "God, I don't know what to do, but I'm trusting You," God gets in gear to help us. God won't allow us to succeed at anything unless we're leaning and relying on Him. But when we humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God, in due time, He will exalt us. See 1 Peter 5:6. Due time is God's time, when God knows we're ready, not when we think we're ready. The sooner we understand and accept that, the sooner God can work His plan in our lives. From seed time to harvest. Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every matter or purpose under heaven." This lets us know that we all don't live in the same season at the same time. You should never be jealous of someone who is enjoying harvest while you're still in the planting season. Remember, they had to go through a season of planting just as you are. Seeing the results they are enjoying should be an encouragement to you. Understand and trust that God is doing the very best for you in your present season. Seed time represents learning the will of God. Each time I choose God's will instead of my own, I'm planting a good seed that will eventually bring a harvest in my life. If you want to be victorious, you cannot afford to get pulled into the world's system, doing what you feel like doing. James 1:21 tells us what we should do. Get rid of all uncleanness and the rampant outgrowth of wickedness, and, in a humble, gentle, modest spirit, receive and welcome the word which, implanted and rooted in your hearts, contains the power to save your souls. Your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. When the word gets rooted in there and begins to change your mind, it begins to heal your emotions and turn your will away from self-will and onto doing the will of God. Living out of one's own soul is equivalent to staying in the wilderness. When my flesh is finally crucified, and I get out of my soul and into doing the will of God, that's when I enter the promised land. The promised land is knowing who you are in Christ, knowing how to fellowship with Him, enjoying His presence, and having peace, contentment, and joy. Between seed time and harvest comes a time of waiting. After a seed is planted, the heat, moisture, and pressure of the ground finally cause the outer hull to crack open. Then roots shoot down, digging their way through the ground. It takes time for this to happen, and it takes place underground. Above the ground, you can't tell anything is happening. That's the way our lives are. After we plant seeds of obedience, we feel like nothing is happening, but all kinds of things are happening inside where we can't see. And like the seed that finally bursts through the ground with a beautiful green shoot, our seeds of obedience finally break forth into a beautiful manifestation of God in our lives. When harvest time comes, the desires of your heart begin to manifest. Bondages fall off of you, and you see your dreams come to pass. You see your kids changing, and your family getting saved. Prosperity, favor, promotion, honor, and all kinds of good things come out in the open where they can be seen. In harvest time, more than ever before, you hear from God, you enjoy His presence, and you're led by the Spirit. Blessings begin to chase you down the street, and joy and calm delight become your normal mood. Are you tired of waiting for harvest time in your life? Are you frustrated, crying out, "When, God, when?" Then you need to understand that God's timing is often a mystery. He doesn't do things on our timetable, yet His word promises that He will not be late, not one single day. But these things I plan won't happen right away. Slowly, steadily, surely, the time approaches when the vision will be fulfilled. If it seems slow, do not despair, for these things will surely come to pass. Just be patient. They will not be overdue a single day. Habakkuk 2:3. God causes things to happen at exactly the right time. Your job is not to figure out when, but to make up your mind that you won't give up until you cross the finish line and are living in the radical, outrageous blessings of God. The more you trust Jesus and keep your eyes focused on Him, the more life you'll have. Trusting God brings life. Believing brings rest. So stop trying to figure everything out and let God be God in your life. God loves you, and He has an amazing plan for your life. He wants you to be happy, and He wants to bless you. But there's so much more to His plans and purposes for you than that. First and foremost, God wants a personal relationship with each of us, and He wants us to partner with Him in sharing His love and the gospel of Jesus Christ with those who don't know Him. He wants us to care about them, to pray for them, and to show them His love and what it means to really be a Christian. In John 8:31-32, Jesus said, "If you abide in my word, hold fast to my teachings and live in accordance with them, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." These verses clearly show us that it's not possible to be free without facing the truth. It's important for us to understand what truth really is. Truth is the way things really are, not the way we think they are, or would like them to be, or wish they were. It's reality from God's point of view, and it is a central theme in His Word. Jesus is the Word of truth, John 1:14-17. The Holy Spirit is the Spirit of truth, and He guides us into all the truth, John 16:13. And as children of God, we belong to the truth, John 8:31. When you walk, your steps shall not be hampered. Your path will be clear and open. When you run, you shall not stumble. Proverbs 4:12. God keeps us from many things that we never even know of. Psalm 139:2 says that God knows my downsitting and my uprising. If He knows each time we sit down or stand up and took the time to tell us about it in His Word, then surely He sees and cares about everything else. When it comes to doing those things that God places in our hearts, He wants us to be bold and courageous, not shrinking back in fear and doubt. To live boldly means that we're willing to step out in faith to try new things and pursue our God-given dreams and passions without letting the fear of doubt overshadow our faith. Doubt is a fear that can bring a lot of confusion. Have you ever thought, did I make the right decision? I don't know. Maybe I did. Well, maybe I didn't. We can go back and forth like that in our heads forever. But I've found that when I'm confused, it's better to stop, turn off my brain, and just look at what's in my heart. Not for what I think I should do, but what I believe I should do. Sometimes it becomes very clear what God wants us to do, and other times it's less obvious. But before you jump ahead, give God a chance to speak to your heart. It's also common to experience doubt after we've made a decision. But going back and forth between two options only makes us miserable. However, that's not how God desires for us to live. Jesus teaches us to take life one day at a time and not to worry about anything, because each day has all that we can handle. Matthew 6:25-34. In order not to worry and be anxious, we must learn new ways, God's ways, to handle our problems and challenges. This also includes new ways to think. When tempted to worry about the future, it's time to remember what God has done in the past. Psalm 77:11 says, "I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago." When the psalmist struggled with worry and anxiety, he remembered past victories that God had given him. The Bible is the instruction manual for our daily lives. It is filled with His wisdom, truths, stories, and parables to instruct us in every area. In it, we can find help for our behavior and our relationships with God and others. We can learn how to grow spiritually, to discern right from wrong, find information about His plan for our lives, and so much more. The more we read, study, and fill our minds with God's Word, the more intimately acquainted we become with Him, and the easier it becomes to hear His voice when we need to make a decision. Satan wants us to think about all the things we can't do. He wants us to compare ourselves to others and focus on our weaknesses. However, when the Lord looks at us, He sees our potential. He wants us to focus on how much we can do. He wants us to lean on His strength and ability to do the great things He has planned for us. The story of Gideon in the book of Judges is the perfect example. At this point in history, the Israelites were being oppressed by the Midianites, who were destroying their land and stealing their cattle. The Israelites had lost their freedom and were crying out to God for protection against their enemies. One day, as Gideon was working in his father's winepress and trying to hide from the enemy, the Lord appeared to him and said, "The Lord is with you, you mighty man of fearless courage. Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you?" Gideon said to him, "O Lord, how can I deliver Israel? Behold, my clan is the poorest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house." The Lord said to him, "Surely I will be with you, and you shall smite the Midianites." Judges 6:12-14-16, AMPC. In Gideon's mind, he was the last person qualified to lead Israel's army to a victory. However, after more encouragement from the Lord, Gideon finally agreed. As Israel's army of 32,000 men were preparing to go into battle, the Lord had Gideon send all but 300 of them home. God wanted them to totally depend on Him. The Lord was about to teach Gideon and us an amazing lesson. No matter what we have or don't have, God can make up the difference when we place our trust in Him. That day, Gideon and his 300 soldiers overcame the entire Midianite army, a force of more than 135,000 men. In considering the broader implications of these prophecies, we are reminded of the enduring power of foresight and the mysteries that lie within the human experience. Cayce's emphasis on a higher consciousness and the interconnectedness of events invites us to reflect on the spiritual dimensions of leadership and governance. The challenges and changes brought about during Trump's presidency may serve as a catalyst for collective growth and awakening as Cayce envisioned. Moreover, the parallels between Cayce's prophecies and biblical texts underscore the timeless nature of these themes. The idea that significant leaders are part of a larger divine plan encourages us to consider the deeper meanings behind political events. Whether viewed through a spiritual, historical, or analytical lens, these prophecies inspire reflection and contemplation. As we conclude, it's important to recognize the role of prophecy in guiding and inspiring humanity. Predictions like those of Edgar Cayce and the biblical prophets offer a framework for understanding the complexities of our world and the forces that shape it. They remind us that history is not just a series of random events, but may be part of a larger, interconnected narrative. In light of Cayce's predictions and their potential implications for Donald Trump and the future of the United States, we are left with a sense of wonder and curiosity. The journey through these prophecies has challenged our perceptions and opened our minds to the extraordinary possibilities that lie ahead. Whether these predictions come true remains to be seen, but their exploration has provided valuable insights into the nature of leadership, destiny, and the power of foresight. As we stand on the brink of the 2024 U.S. presidential election, the relevance of these prophecies will undoubtedly become clearer. The political landscape is ever-changing, and the outcomes of this election will shape the future in ways we can only begin to imagine. By examining the predictions of Edgar Cayce and comparing them to ancient texts, we have gained a deeper understanding of the potential forces at play. Thank you for joining us on this intriguing exploration into the predictions of Edgar Cayce and their potential implications for Donald Trump. If you found this video thought-provoking, please subscribe to our channel and like the video. Stay tuned for more fascinating insights into the mysteries of prophecy and the forces that shape our world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking the truth.